This is going to be a very short video on patching up a damaged wall. You can see that this area is cracked right above the light switch. Most of the material is starting to crack away. Inside there you can see it's completely cracked away. So what you really need to do to fix this is maybe 4 items. You need a putty knife. You don't really need a putty knife if you want to use your fingers to do this. You can do that, or you can use a little spatula, but you need some type of item to spread your material. You need some tape, wallboard tape, drywall tape. It's best to use this instead of the cloth tape. You want to have this type of material, so usually it's got an adhesive on there. You can see my finger sticking on it a little bit. Even if it doesn't have the adhesive, at least you can get it into the wall and you'll shove your material through this thing and it will make the area more secure. This is some type of wall putty. You can either buy it pre-mixed, pre-made, or you can mix it yourself. The 10-minute, 5-minute, 20 minutes mixture where it's powder and you mix it with water. But you're going to need some type of putty mixture. You really want it where it's not going to take 24 hours to dry. It makes it a lot easier. This stuff takes a while to dry. But the faster it dries, the better the job comes out. What you're going to do is you're going to put tape inside this area. This has got switches here, so the smart thing to do is to remove the switches, turn off the power so you don't kill yourself, and pull the switches out, get in there, put the tape inside here. Well, I'll show you how you do that. And then you start shoving all your putty inside there. And after it starts to build up, the important thing, you want it to build up. You don't want to put on just a little bit. You really want to build this thing up so it's strong. Then you will go in there and sand it down and paint everything. You can see what's happening as I am taking these switches off. There's really not a good secure connection with the screws because I can't tighten this thing down properly because the wall is falling apart. So I've got power on there, which you should not do because you can kill yourself. You do not want that to happen, so you want to get your screws out of there. You can see it right on the top now. You can see what just happened, what just broke away. All of the wallboard in the back just came out. You want to build that up so you've got something secure. Got a washer behind here and it's not letting the switch come out. That is what the problem is. So let me shut off the video for a minute. And there you have it. You can see what's going on in here right now. You can see this whole area broke away. It's cracked. Let me zoom that up there. It's cracked over here. And when you put on the switch plate, it just cracks. So I'm going to take this whole thing off. All over the floor, making a nice mess. That's what just came off. And you can see inside here that when they put this together, everything fell apart. So you really don't need to worry as long as your switch plate closes around that. You want to make sure you don't build this up so much that you can't get your switches in there. But this whole area up here, it needs to be replaced with new material, and that's why you're going to use the tape, because you really can't shove your putty inside here and build this up properly. You can see the switch plate went over there, so I'm good on that. You might want to line your switch plate up on the wall, make sure that you've got enough coverage on the top and bottom and the sides. But for something like this, I'm going to show you what you have to do now. That is the first part of the repair. You can see that I put the tape inside there. I've got it squeezed in as best I can. When you're doing drywall repair, you're normally going to do like 2 or 3 or 4 repairs to get the thing to be finished. So the goal now is just to build up as much material as I can in the far back. And then after I build that up, I'll let it dry overnight. Then I'll go up to this area and I'll start building this section up. This is probably, it's a 5/8 inch piece of material that's completely broken away. So I'll build that up. And first I want to build up as much material inside as I can. And that's where you start using your putty knife or your fingers, and you put in your compound. Again, if you were If you're working around power, like I said, make sure you turn it off. I've got the power on. I'm going to be using my finger. I don't want to get a putty knife in there. That's way too dangerous. And mostly, you want to remove all of this gunky stuff, all the loose stuff. And you can see some pieces are still flopping around because I didn't do that. But, like I said, this is a procedure that's going to take a couple times to do. And if I took the switches out of the way, I could probably get in there with a putty knife. You can see that the tape is starting to move around. But the point of the tape is to hopefully, even though it's moved around, hopefully it's going to grab onto some of this material. There goes the tape, which I didn't want to happen. It's all over my hands now. It's a nightmare. The world's falling apart. But that's okay. You want to get this material in there as best you can. You want to try to fill this area in. And it doesn't matter if you don't get it all in there the first time, because you can see this is an awkward, it's falling all over the place. It's an awkward area. I'm going to have to move the camera. I will put it on afterwards so you can see what I've accomplished. That's what I've accomplished for the night. I built up a little bit of a well on the top and the bottom. It's still really flimsy, but overnight it will dry, it will get secure, and then I'll be able to fill in that little gap that's over there. I'll be able to start shoving some of the material in there and fill it up. And I will remove the stuff away from the screw holes over there. If you want to avoid that, you can put some tape on that before you do this type of a job. And then after I build everything up in here, then I will put the tape across the top, and I will shove the material in, the compound in, so that I build up this repair to the wall, and it all becomes one piece. So that will happen tomorrow, and then you can see what the process is to repair a damage like this. See you in the morning. If you look here, you can see that I added more tape to the mixture after things started to dry a little bit. And you can also see, I think, how much I have to build up, probably 5/8 of an inch, maybe half an inch. So this is probably a one-day process, maybe a couple days, unless you buy some really good stuff where you just mix the powder and it's a 10-minute dry. This is one reason to use that mixture where it's powder and water. It dries in about 15 minutes, because this would be done very quickly. But because I don't have any of that here, and I don't want to go outside, I'm doing the pre-mix stuff. And you can see that I'm continually building this up and then putting more tape into there. So this is a couple hours worth of work and waiting. And in the morning, I will hopefully find that this is completely dry, and then I only have about another 1/4 of an inch to build up, which should be fairly easy to pack that in there, get some tape on there, get some tape on the wall over here, and then after everything dries, sand it down, smooth it out, and clean everything up so that I can mount the switches. It's morning time. This is going to be the final part of the repair. I'm going to clean off some of the stuff I have at the top, and then I'm going to insert this tape in here. And so what I'm going to be doing is filling this with putty, and then I'm going to put this over the top of it, and I am going to smooth the material over that and blend it in, and it should be part of the wall. I'll show you how that works. So I've got the putty knife. I'm going to shove this material in there. The reason that I said it's better to buy the powder and mix it yourself is because you don't have all this mushiness. You can make it thicker. It doesn't drop and fall down on the floor and make a huge mess. So this stuff is really creamy, very hard to make it thick. And that's why I'm having a hard time getting this material in there. as you can see, but it's building up. It's starting to build up. And if I had the thicker material, then I wouldn't be going through all these problems right now. So I might have to do this one more time, but you can see I've got the tape over there. I'm going to shove this in to my material, try to get it to make some contact, and then I'm just going to apply this. And it looks like there's a lot on there right now, but you can sand it off. Not only can you sand it off, but it blends in. Nobody will ever notice after it's smoothed down and painted. You have no idea that any of this was done. And that's how you patch a wall. I'm having a hard time putting this stuff on the knife and making sure that it doesn't fall off. And it might need another coat. But you can see how you do this. It probably will need another coat just to smooth everything out on the top. You can see how I'm blending it in. And I'll probably use, wait for this to dry, and then go back up there and put more material in and clear it away from the screw hole that I've got over there so that everything works. Alright, hopefully this video helped you with your project. This is the final result. You can see a little bit of tape over there, which I'm not too worried about. I don't really want to sand this down too far, because then you're going to see all the tape, and I don't want to build it up too high, because then you're going to see a big mound on the wall. So it's smooth on the edges. Little indentations over there, but not a big issue. Couple coats of primer, thick primer on here, and then a couple coats of the base coat, and everything will be perfect, and nobody will know. So that's how you patch up a wall. Make sure you do a thumbs up, a subscribe, a like if this helped you. Save a lot of money. Go to my channel page, click on the support button, and maybe put a couple $1,000 in there to help me out. I'd appreciate it. Hey, good luck in your wall repair. Thanks. Here you see the final result over here. The reason it looks different is because this is textured, and this part is not textured because that's where I put the patch, and I really didn't want to go through the trouble of putting texture on the wall in this one area to make it match. It stands out a little bit, but nobody's really going to notice or care, and you can see the wall is perfectly flat and even. Overall, it looks good. So that's how you patch a wall, and good luck with your project.